ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ पुनत्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् just a simple prayer to welcome everybody and just say, let's student and, all of us discuss with friendliness and be more accepting of each other. So that, that'll be a nice way. Happy New Year, first of all, it's our first meeting in 2025. We're presenting this. My name is Pushpa Soundararajan and I have Gauri Junnarkar here with me. And we both are really happy to do the first meeting today. So first of all, I just want to introduce myself and then I'll give it to Gauri. She'll introduce herself and then we'll talk about the agenda after that. Like I said, my name is Pushpa, and I've been a dietitian for over 35 years. I'm graduated from UIC in Chicago, and I'm in private practice in Chicago. I mostly do virtual counseling. And I also became a yoga teacher about 22 years ago. And then after that, about 10, 11 years, 12 years ago, I think I've got into Ayurveda and then kind of added that to my toolbox. The last 4 or 5 years, I've been doing Jyotish. So pretty much covered all of the yogic sciences, Vedic sciences together to give me a holistic view of, how to heal people. And I also have a YouTube channel, which I started because I really wanted to educate the public on, self-healing, especially using yoga and Ayurveda. So definitely it's called BPK Nutrition, Mind, Body Healing with Pushpa. So whoever is interested, please go check it out. Other things, Gauri and myself have written a couple of books together. We actually first thought this is such a wonderful science because both of us are practice. We do an integrative approach with our patients. So we thought this would be something that all dietitians should learn because really Ayurveda is more about personalized medicine, and modern medicine is wonderful. And we've been doing that, but then we felt that we need to also approach other aspects of like the lifestyle as well and things like that. And I will talk a little bit more detail later on. So we created we wrote this book for dietitians, also created a course based on that, actually got credit for those, CME credit for dietitians as well. And then we also wrote another book, the blue book that you see in my background, that is Ayurveda and Yoga Paths to Health and Healing, which is actually meant for the general consumer. So if you really want to learn systematically about Ayurveda and help yourself, you can definitely order that. That's available on Amazon, and Gauri will show you that as well. So basically, and then of course, I'm also a speaker. I've done a lot of talks. I mean, both of us do that. We've done lots of talks everywhere. And I guess that's everything. So I'm gonna just go hand it over to Gauri, let her introduce herself, then I will continue with the rest of the agenda.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pushpa. And so welcome, just want to welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming here and showing us support. This is such a wonderful way for us to even create that awareness about Ayurveda. And again, very happy New Year to all of you. And I hope that, that the year, brings in a lot more awareness about health and wellness for all of you. And what better way to start with health and wellness than introducing Ayurveda into your life. So just a little introduction about myself. So I was trained as an Ayurveda physician in India before I came here. I did my master's in nutrition, became a registered licensed dietitian. I'm also a certified diabetes educator. And so several years, I thought that, I wanted to always bring in that knowledge of Ayurveda. That's where I started with my private practice, which is called Ayur Nutrition, which is between Ayurveda and modern nutrition. And I have been into the integrative healthcare and wellness for over 17 years plus, both as an Ayurveda practitioner and then a registered dietitian, and more than 10 years as a certified diabetes educator. I also have my own YouTube channel, which is Ayur Nutrition, where I share a lot of recipes and things as well. I also do a podcast, which is called Wellness Bites with Gauri. And again, Pushpa and myself, we are both very passionate about Ayurveda and again, bringing in the knowledge about Ayurveda and creating awareness about Ayurveda. So without further ado, I'm going to have Pushpa start on our things about Ayurveda and what we have about Ayurveda and why Ayurveda should be part of our health and wellness today. Thanks, Pushpa.
Thanks, Gauri. Again, welcome everyone. So first, the agenda, I'm going to be speaking maybe about 15-20 minutes about what is Ayurveda. So my agenda will cover the introduction to Ayurveda, especially for those who haven't heard about it or have somewhat of an idea about it. And then how is it different from modern medicine and how it can be relevant in today's world. And also, I'll also cover some basic concepts in Ayurveda that talks about the diet and the lifestyle and how this can be healing for our body. Okay, so let's begin. First of all, when we start, and again, I don't have any PowerPoint, I'm just going to talk. And of course, we will have this recording sent to those people who registered, so you can always go back and watch later on. So let's start with the introduction. Ayurveda, as many of you know, it is originating from India. It was an alternative medicine practiced thousands and thousands of years ago in India. So that was the only kind of medicine practice there. Until the Britishers came in, then allopathic medicine was brought to India. So again, it was not that everybody studied Ayurveda in the old days. It is more about, it was incorporated into the culture. It was always a belief, food can be used as medicine, lifestyle is medicine. So this is how it was part of the Indian culture. So a lot of you, if you're Indians, you know that we use spices and there are certain times you eat, they do fasting. There are so many things that we follow in our daily routine. At least we did in the old days. Maybe I know with the Western influence, things have changed now, or we've moved here, things have changed. However, if you've grown up in India, you know a lot of the things that we practiced were actually very beneficial for our health. So the rishis of the ancient times, they pulled this. Charakacharya was the first one who pulled all of this knowledge from these the Vedas, the 4 Vedas, and compiled it as the Charaka Samhita and gave us this knowledge of health and healing to be used by all humanity, not just Indians, but all humanity, because Ayurveda believes that if you give the proper conditions of diet and lifestyle to your body will heal itself. So again, let's start with the word Ayurveda, right? Ayurveda is the word, it's a Sanskrit word. Ayur means longevity or life, longevity. Veda means science or knowledge. So it's basically the science or knowledge of life or longevity. So the rishis got together and said, we need to figure out how we can prolong the life of a person, longevity of a person. And not only that, how do you have quality of life? You can live for a long time. We're having lots of people living 80, 90 years nowadays. But how many people can truly say they're actually healthy, right? So the 2 goals of Ayurveda were Swastasya swastha rakshanam aturasya vikara prashamanam. This is a Sanskrit sutra. So swastasya swastha rakshanam, that is swastha means health, means saying that preserving the health of the healthy person is a first goal. So it is prevention is the first goal of Ayurveda, always focusing on health. The second one is aturya vikara prashamanam. That means curing the diseases of the sick person. Now again, modern medicine is always focused on curing the sick. I mean, that is our always, if you have a problem with your symptoms of some problem, you want to fix the problem. That's the only time you actually go to a healthcare practitioner. However, in Ayurveda, it is always about maintaining your health and of course, so that you don't get sick. So it's always focused on prevention. That is given number 1 priority. That is very important to remember. There's a major difference between Ayurveda and modern medicine. However, what I am noticing now, and again, more in the last few years, I think more people are being aware because of all of the chronic illnesses and the cancer and a lot of Alzheimer's and all of this stuff is happening more lately, anxiety, depression. People are, even the doctors are starting to realize that diet is such a big part of it. Although we've had dietitians all along, they never thought of referring to dietitians, but I think now the awareness is more clear. They are thinking diet is important, and not only that, lifestyle, which is management of stress. Now, stress is a huge part of our life nowadays. So managing that stress is important. In fact, I was just listening to Dean Ornish. He's a cardiologist. He's just a few days ago, I listened to his webinar. He talked about lifestyle medicine. This is a new field coming up among the doctors of lifestyle medicine. He's created a program where he has a team of people, dietitians, he has doctors, he has, everybody, psychologists and so on, because he's realized that you need body-mind health. And this is wonderful that the awareness is coming up. But again, this has been the premise of Ayurveda all along. So we're very happy that both sciences are coming together. So let's talk about some of the concepts in Ayurveda. Okay, so Ayurveda is based on the concept that everything in nature, including our body, is made of the 5 great elements. So which is Akasha, which is ether or space, Vayu, air, Agni, which is fire, Apaha or Jala, which is water, and then Prithvi, which is earth. So these are the 5 great elements. So every matter is made of these 5 elements. So if the cosmos is made of the 5 elements and the body is made, so we have to maintain that balance with the environment. That's why the seasonal routine, eating seasonal fruits, vegetables, and all become very important. Because if you start eating something against the season, for example, if it's the middle of winter and your body is already cold and this thing, you want to have warm liquids. You always crave hot soups and hot foods, right? You would not go and eat the ice cream in the middle of winter. There are people who do because they like the taste of ice cream, but think about it, it's going to just create more imbalance because you're already subjected to these things around you. So this is where Ayurveda kind of is more of like an intuitive, common sense approach to health and healing. So that is one of the things. So now the Ayurveda is also personalized medicine, like I said before. So basically, every body, every person is made of a different constitution. Now, we all still have the 5 elements, but some elements are more dominant than others. So based on that, everything about you changes. Your body shape, your personality, your digestion, your sleep, everything is dependent on the composition of your body. So this is where we need to assess what kind of body type you are in order to give you the right diet and lifestyle to pacify or to calm down the imbalance. So here there are 3 doshas, or they're called doshas, 3 types, which are called Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So Vata energy is usually like a more dominant in air and space element, which are very light. Remember air, and they take on the properties of these elements. So air, if you look at it, is always moving, it's cooling in nature, and it's drying in nature, things like that. So these are the qualities of a person with a Vata. So you think about a Vata person, okay? So they're usually very thin and skinny. Because of the air movement, they're always moving, they're constantly fidgeting, restless. They walk fast, talk a lot. They're enthusiastic, very creative. They have lots and lots of ideas all of the time, but because of the movement, they don't really stick to one thing. So these are the people who say, okay, I'll try this for a little bit, drop it, let me go to something else. They keep on trying different things. So if you keep on digging so many holes, you're not going to find water. You need to go deeper in order to find waters. But unfortunately, this is what happened with the Vata person. And if the digestion is also very erratic, sometimes you're hungry, sometimes not hungry. These are your typical grazers. The people, you might have seen people who just eat little bit at a time and even forget to eat sometimes. But they are the ones who really need the actual 3 meals and kind of ground themselves so they're not all over the place. So I talked about digestion. And then when they're usually prone to problems like bloating and gas and constipation, things like that. And mental level, more anxiety and fear, nervousness, all of these are related to Vata. Generally, if you have a lot of dreams, or if you have too much overthinking, or if you have where you're flying or jumping or falling off the bed, or somebody's chasing you, when these kinds of dreams come, this actually gives you a clue as to what kind of imbalance you have. You have a Vata imbalance. So kind of pay attention. So even dreams give us that outlook. And of course, the sleep also is very erratic. So they're very light sleepers. They can wake up just like that. They have trouble falling asleep. And so these are some things to think about Vata. This is a very brief overview. I have done detailed videos on YouTube as well. So you can, if you're interested, you can always go learn. Of course, our book has all of this stuff as well. Then the second is the dosha, which is the Pitta dosha, is Agni, water and fire dominant. So think of the type A personality. These people usually have like a medium frame body, more muscular in nature. And they have like a colored eyes and colored hair. I mean, again, I'm not talking about races. Within the race, you would see that difference. And of course, they are very fiery personality because of the fire. They're very fire. The type A, we call them. That's what the Pitta nature is. It's very passionate, very intense, very focused, single-pointed focus. So if they're studying something, they're learning something, they will go deep into that subject. And of course, they're very argumentative. It can also be very organized, very perfectionist. So really, if somebody else is not as perfect as them, they can get very upset about that because they want everybody to be that way. And recently, I was watching Martha Stewart's documentary on Netflix, which I thought was very interesting because I can see the passion, and she's such a perfectionist. She just yelled at everybody if they don't put the spoon properly. So I mean, that's the kind of intensity Pitta can have. And again, sometimes it might look like a mean thing, but this is who they are. That is their nature. And of course, when it comes to digestion, because of that strong Agni, they can digest just about anything. So, but it's important that they eat at the right time. Sometimes they get so immersed in work, they might forget to eat and then become hangry, right? So that is very important for a Pitta personality. If you recognize yourself that way, think about that. Prone to diseases, again, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, then you can get heartburn, hyperacidity, UTIs. All of these are common Pitta. Anything inflammation is typically a Pitta response. Sleep, pretty good, moderate sleepers, 7 to 8 hours, but feel fresh in the morning and all of that is all great. But if they're stressed, they usually get angry. Anger, irritability, all of these are some symptoms of Pitta imbalance. Dreams, usually very violent dreams and blood and, not angry dreams, things like that. Think about that as well. The third type is Kapha. Kapha is again dominant in the earth and water element. And so here, because of the earth and water, they both are very heavy elements. So they're very grounded in nature. Body frame usually on the, in modern standards, they would be considered a little overweight, but that is the nature of Kapha. Okay, so you wouldn't call it that. That doesn't make them unhealthy because of that. So again, they have a round face, beautiful eyes. They have very kind eyes. They're very loving, affectionate. They love to hug people. So this is how Kaphas are. Generally, they're very slow in their movements because of the earth element. They move slowly, talk slowly, beautiful singers, beautiful voices. And then they also, the digestion is also very slow. So again, they're also, because of the inertia, they don't like to do exercise. They don't like to change anything. They don't like to change anything about themselves or the routine. They don't like to, in their mind also, they can be very fixated with their ideas. They don't like to change their ideas. So it's very difficult to get them to change. Whereas Pittas can also appear difficult, but if you give them logic, they are more open-minded. However, Kaphas are not like that. It's hard to get them to change. So that is why if you have somebody who's trying to lose weight, even if I give them a lot of advice, it's very hard for them to make changes. So I always tell them, try one thing or two things. You can always go back to your old habits, but please try it, So they need that. This is why it's very important that they do exercise activity first thing in the morning so that they get themselves moving a little bit. Digestion, again, is very slow. So it could take a few hours to digest more than Vata and Pitta. So they can get away with just 2 meals a day or intermittent fasting and all of these things. When they get imbalanced, of course, they have, Kapha is very sticky. So they can get very attached to people or craving love from others or get very depressed. So these are some symptoms, imbalances can cause some of these things. So the other thing, like I mentioned, everything in nature is made of the 5 great elements. So naturally, there's an aphorism in Ayurveda which says, Yata Pinde Tada Brahmande. So Brahmande is a universe. Pinde is like the individual cell. So whatever is in the universe is what is there in the individual cell. What is individual is in the universe. So it's vice versa. So this is why we need to keep our body in balance with nature, live in harmony with nature in order to feel healthy. And this is why, they're finding out about circadian rhythms to use, like sleeping by 10 o'clock or whatever, and then waking up in the morning with the sunrise. That is much more healthy for you than, again, with electricity and the computer and the globalization. People stay up very late at night, especially the younger generation. And this is why they get into a lot of trouble so early in life. If you are in your 50s and 60s and over, we had a different kind of lifestyle growing up. But nowadays, the kids are facing this kind of sleep disruption and stress quite a bit. And again, remember, when you don't get good night's sleep, you also don't make good choices. So diet and lifestyle, like a diet usually is, you have to pick a diet. So there is a concept in Ayurveda, like increases like. So diet is always based on your body type, not just the body type you're born with, but we look at the body type or the imbalance that you have based on your symptoms. For example, if you have a lot of gas and bloating and constipation, that means you have a lot of dryness in the body. So, and so then in that case, you would do more like a Vata pacifying diet, Vata pacifying lifestyle. So it's not just diet. Diet is one aspect, absolutely. So it's dry and cold energy of Vata is dominant. That means you would pick warm and moist, right? So your foods should be warm and moist. Cooked foods, freshly cooked foods, and like soups and, moong dal and, grounding foods and mild spices. And again, Gauri will talk more about spices, but just to give you an idea, I'm talking about. And the same thing with Pitta. Pitta is very fiery energy. You want something more cooling in nature. Kapha is again inertia, not movement. So you want a lot of pungent spices to get the Agni going so they can move. So these are some things to keep in mind. Diet in Ayurveda is again not based on the macronutrients. As a dietitian, we talk about carbohydrates, proteins, fat. Now, these are the things that is broken down to in the body. Of course, the foods, they have done the analysis and figured out this much carbohydrates, this much protein, this much fat in every food. However, for a lay public, it's hard to know, how much there is in everything unless you have a book that you can look at. So Ayurveda talks more about the 6 tastes. So 6 tastes would include sweet, sour, salty, pungent, bitter, and astringent. Now, astringent is a unique taste. It's not really a taste, it's more of a quality. Astringent means holding water or absorbing water. Like think about chickpeas or something. When you soak it, it takes in water. Oatmeal is like a soluble fiber, but it draws water. So that is a property of astringency. So that means what? It makes solid things. So when you make solid things, that means it's good if you have a diarrhea, but if you have already a constipation, those things can be a problem. So we choose, so when it comes to diet, and if you know you have a certain imbalance, like say Vata imbalance, like gas, bloating, and constipation, you will always pick tastes which are opposite of that. So sweet is supposed to be more grounding for Vata. Salt has a fire and water element. So that will be like the top taste, you will go for Vata. That doesn't mean I'm saying eat really salty food, but generally you will see if your Vata is imbalanced, you will be craving salty things. So nature itself, your body tells you. Of course, there is healthy craving versus you shouldn't be eating snacks because of habit. But if you get a craving once in a while, then you have to be aware, okay, my Vata is out of balance. I need to ground myself. So these are some very interesting concepts that Ayurveda talks about. We have very little time to talk about this, and I want to give Gauri enough time to show you this tea. So I'm just going to give you a brief idea about that. The next thing is, of course, lifestyle. Now, again, just as diet is important, lifestyle is given a lot of importance in Ayurveda. When I say lifestyle, I'm talking about activities. You want to stay active. Now, even this is geared towards the different doshas or personalities. Now, if Vata is the person who loves to run, they're the skinny people, but they love to run, right? But for them, running too much just increases the Vata more and leads to imbalance. However, so they would benefit something like grounding, yoga, meditation, pranayama, breathing, keep that prana inside, because you lose prana by running too much. So they would benefit from those kinds of things, and they don't like to do that, but really that is what is going to bring balance. Pittas, again, everybody should be doing activity, obviously. So walking is good for both Vata and Pitta. When it comes to Kapha, on the other hand, remember I said they don't like to move. So when you're that kind of a person, or your Kapha is imbalanced also, I'm not talking just born with that imbalance, then you want to make sure you get that activity in first thing in the morning. Or at least, have a discipline to get up and walk every hour or two, because that tendency to sit and not move is so strong. You have to push yourself to do this. You put a reminder in your clock or whatever. So, and yoga also, Kaphas actually would benefit from something like Surya Namaskara. Doing 3 rounds of Surya Namaskara can serve as a cardio. Now again, here we are thinking of asana practice as more of a physical activity rather than a spiritual practice. I mean, I'm a yoga teacher, and I very much think of yoga as a spiritual practice. But again, it is also used as a therapeutic practice in Ayurveda. And of course, it is also used as a physical exercise. Naturally, in the West, most people think of yoga as a physical exercise, which is fine. If it works for you, it is helping you in some way. But eventually, you want to get to that point of spirituality. But unless your body is healthy, and this is another sutra in this, dharma, artha, kama, mokshanam, arogyam, moolam, uttamam. So Ayurveda says for the 4 goals of life, dharma, to do your dharma, your work, artha, to make money, or, and then kama, which is to satisfy your desires, and moksha is liberation from the mind, you just this constant, thing in your mind, the cycle of birth and death. So even to achieve these 4 goals of life, which is what everybody is here to do, you have to have good health. So that is something important. So it is our bounden duty to make ourselves healthy and heal our own body and mind in order to be able to do anything in this world, right? We're not even talking spirituality. We're talking about just day-to-day, going to work, doing, supporting your family, doing whatever you need to do in your life. You need to be healthy. So we need to make that as priority, and hopefully 2025, make that sankalpa, that wow, I am going to keep myself healthy no matter what. So that is very important to remember. So last couple more concepts. One is routine. So Ayurveda always insists on routine. And again, there's a lot of information. It's called the dosha clock, which pretty much splits up the day into 4-hour segments of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So even the day is split up. So if morning 6 to 10 is like the Kapha time, it's very slow time. Remember, when you get up in the morning, you're kind of a little sluggish. So at that time, you should be eating more spicy foods and something that will rev up your metabolism and make you wake up. People always have sweet foods. You're eating, think about it, in this country, we have, sweet cereals and sweet donuts and all kinds of stuff which is not healthy for you. So you want to go with something spicy. You can have some omelet with some protein in it. Protein is actually good for you in the morning, with some spices and vegetables and things like that. So things like that. Then the middle, 10 to 2, the midday, when the sun is up, is when our Agni is also very strong. So you want to eat your main meal, your biggest meal, during the lunchtime. Then dinner would be Kapha time, again 6 to 10, lighter meal. So in between 2 to 6, which is the Vata time, is your most productive time. So it is good for you to get all your work done during that time, being creative at that time, and also go for a little walk maybe before dinner. So these are some things to think about. Again, I have actually a video, but we'll talk about that later. And then the last one is why, although we know all of these differences between the body types, digestion is one thing that Ayurveda gives premium importance to. So even if you, let's say if you eat the best foods possible, you buy all the organic foods and cook fresh, do everything, but if your digestion is not working, then it's not going to make a big difference. So digestion is something we work on. And we already said you already have this, Vatas are prone to erratic digestion, Pittas strong digestion, and then Kaphas are like slow digestion. We already talked about that. However, if the digestion is not good, then you're going to have imbalances. So then this forms some undigested materials, which stays in the stomach, and these are called ama. These are white sticky substances, and these can actually go through the gut wall into the bloodstream, cause inflammation. This is why we talk about inflammation all the time. And these sticky substances cause blockages in all of the channels of the body. And one of those examples would be plaque, which is blocking the arteries, right? So things like this can happen. So it's very important to assess your own digestion to see if you're digesting. If you're not digesting your food, then you need to do something about that. And this is where spices and herbs come into play, and they serve as a food as medicine. And then and Ayurveda has given so many ways to use spices. Of course, as Indians, we use it in cooking all of the time. And every culture has their own set of spices that they use. But there are also other ways to make it even more potent, especially by making some herbal teas. So for a pitta, you would make more like a hema, which is putting it water and soaking it regular water for the night. But Fanta is the word used for these herbal teas in Ayurveda. Here you can boil a bunch of spices, again, depending on what you need. Your practitioner can help you with that. Or, if you know the spices, you can do that as well. So this is what Gauri is going to talk about. She's going to talk about the herbs and the spices and actually show you how to make a tea. So this is something I would say is the best thing anybody can do. Whatever you do or don't do, start with your digestion, and making these teas is probably the best thing. And I think Gauri is going to great demonstration. So please learn from that. So that is my take for the day. It's a very brief overview of Ayurveda. Of course, if you have more interest in that, you can definitely buy our book and of course watch our YouTube channel and things like that. So thank you so much. And I'm going to hand it over to Gauri now.
Okay. So thank you, Pushpa. That was such a wonderful, overview of Ayurveda and some of the, concepts in Ayurveda. And this is something I always tell everybody, when you think about Ayurveda or when you start introducing Ayurveda into your lifestyle, even we, and when we have learned Ayurveda, we feel that, what we have learned, what we even read about on a daily basis, it's just the tip of the iceberg. So Ayurveda is so profound, and the beauty of Ayurveda is that they are very simple concepts, but which can be included, perpetually as well. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and switch my camera, and I hope that all of you can see my camera. Okay, so let me just go ahead and switch the camera. And in the current setting, you're going to see my hands, and I'm going to be talking as I explain, show you different spices. And the idea is, as I show you the different spices, I'm going to talk a little about the different spices as well. Then I'm going to show you how to make this tea. It's called the 6-spice tea. And this tea, the recipe is there in our book. I will show you this book as well at the end of our session as well. Okay, so let me just go ahead and switch. Can everybody see my? Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with our spice tea. I hope everybody can hear me well. Okay, so what we are doing right now is, let me show you the different spices we are going to use today. So we are doing the 6-spice tea. The first spice we are using, it's the cumin. And cumin, if you look at it, it's slightly elongated. The seeds are slightly elongated, slightly flattened. Okay, so this is cumin. Okay. Now, the next one we're going to use is the coriander. These are the coriander seeds. The coriander seeds, you may know that coriander, the leaves are used as cilantro, and the seeds are the coriander seeds as well. Now, these are slightly different. You can see that compared to cumin. They're slightly roundish in nature, a little yellowish as well. So these are coriander. The next spice we are using is our fennel seeds. Now, fennel seeds, again, are slightly greenish, again, slightly different compared to our cumin seeds as well. So what you will see here is that, again, now I remember that growing up in India, we used to always chew on this cumin seeds after each meal. And the idea with cumin seeds, the fennel seeds, is again, it helps with digestion and also freshens up our breath as well. So this is one thing we always did in India, is after each meal, we would actually chew on these fennel seeds to have a fresher breath, and again with the digestion as well. The next spice I have over here is our black pepper. Okay, so this is our black pepper. The next thing we are going to have, we're going to add to our tea is the turmeric. Okay, and turmeric, again, we have seen hundreds of studies on turmeric, again, known as a golden spice as well. So a lot of different many things about turmeric. Also, turmeric is known for its anti-inflammatory properties as well. And the last thing we're going to add is our ginger. So ginger in Ayurveda is also known as Vishwa Bheshajam. Vishwa means the whole world, and Bheshaj means the healer. So ginger actually has that thing given to it, the title given to it as Vishwabheshar, because actually helps a lot with the digestion. So especially when we are feeling bloated, we're feeling that really stuffed up. Again, adding ginger to our hot tea, it helps a lot, especially with the digestion. And again, for those who have a slower digestion, even chewing on some ginger, maybe half an hour before a meal, helps a lot with, again, having a better digestion as well. What I want to also point out is that when it comes to our digestion, these three, we have these three over here. We have the cumin, coriander, and the fennel. Again, these are all, again, helps a lot with the digestion as well. And especially fennel helps a lot with, it's considered more of a cooling spice. These are also cooling, but again, fennel is more. So again, especially if, there's a lot of indigestion and things as well. Again, making a simple tea with fennel also helps a lot. Okay. So let's start with our tea. I have the saucepan over here. Let me put our stove on. Next, what we're going to do is we're actually going to add in 2 cups of water over here. Let me see. So we have around 2 cups of water. I'm just going to slowly add that over here. So for this 2 cups of water, next I'm going to add our spices. And again, there's no set direction as to which spices you want to add first. You can definitely add whichever you want to start with. I'm going to start with the fennel seeds. I'm just going to add half a teaspoon over here. Next, if you remember, this is the coriander seeds, slightly roundish, slightly yellowish. Again, I'm adding a half a teaspoon over here. Next, if you remember, our cumin, slightly different. They are slightly elongated. So again, I'm going to add half a teaspoon over here. Next is one of our favorite spices, our turmeric. So I'm adding our turmeric over here. Next, I'm going to add a little ginger. Now, keep in mind that for those, again, ginger is a little spicy. I will tell you that. So again, if you feel that, not able to tolerate a lot of spice, you can reduce the amount of ginger if you want. Okay. But I will definitely add a little. I'm adding at least half a teaspoon worth. And what I've done is actually I've cut the ginger into smaller pieces. You can actually even grind the ginger if you want a more stronger flavor. The next spice I'm adding is our black pepper. Now, black pepper, keep in mind, is a very warm spice, a very heating spice. So especially if you are of the pitta body type, you want to add less. If you want to add more of the kapha body type, you want to add more. So I'm just going to add just a few of these black pepper over here. Now, if you want to add a more spicier flavor, you can actually ground the black pepper and then you can add it. And what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to let it boil for a couple of minutes. I want to show you how it looks like once we start boiling. Now, this is a wonderful tea. This is called a 6-spice tea. Now, this is a wonderful tea, again, to start your day with. If you want to start your day with a feeling like you want to have a better metabolism, better digestion, you can always start. Now, depending upon your body type, you can adjust the spices. That means if you are more of the kapha, you want to have more digestion, better digestion, you want to add more of the black pepper. If you are more of the pitta personality, that means you would, again, reduce the amount of black pepper, you would add more of the fennel. Now, if you had more, you were more of the vata, one of the things I would add more cumin and coriander as well. So you can actually even modify different of your spices, different of your tea, different of your meals based on your body type as well. And that is one of the beauties of Ayurveda, is everything becomes very individualized for you. That means your diet becomes individualized, your lifestyle becomes individualized as well for you. So now you see that, the tea is boiling. I'm just going to let it boil for a couple of more minutes, and then I'm going to turn it off. Again, you can definitely use this warm in the morning. You can use it the first thing in the morning. You can use it with a meal as well. as well. Now keep in mind, especially if you want to have fluids with a meal, Ayurveda says you just want to sip our fluids. We don't want to gulp our fluids. So again, you want to just sip our fluids as well. Okay. And you can see that, as now I'm standing here, so I can actually smell the aroma of all the different spices as well. So again, a wonderful way to even invoke those different spices and even get those spices, those smell of the different spices and aromas as well. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this. I'm going to turn it off. And what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to go ahead and strain it. So I have this steel strainer over here. I'm just going to go ahead and strain this tea. And here you go. We have the 6-spice tea over here. You will see that you will have a little yellowish color because of the turmeric. But again, it's infused with all the 6 different spices and herbs that we just added. Wonderful wonderful tea. Now, let me tell you that right now we're going to slowly begin with the kapha season. In the kapha season, what we find especially is that, we see a lot of the seasonal allergies come in. We see a lot of the kapha imbalance come in. So again, a wonderful way, wonderful tea to then start beginning as we transition into the kapha season to start with, this 6-spice tea. So this 6-spice tea is included in our book, and I'll talk about this book and one of our courses as well. But again, this is a wonderful spice tea to, again, a wonderful complement just to have it by itself or even to have it with a light meal. Okay, so let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and switch my camera, and I'm going to show you our book. I'm going to also show you our wonderful course actually that we have in for all of you that, if you want to add in Ayurveda into your daily routine. So me and Pushpa actually have come together and actually devised this course for you. So let me go ahead and show you as well. And towards the end, if you have any questions, please let us know. Okay. Okay. So I hope that, all of you got a glimpse about the 6-spice tea. And we hope that, you'll try this tea and let us know how you like this tea as well. So let me show you what we have for you as well. So this is basically our webinar, our seminar that we just had for you, just to give you a brief introduction about Ayurveda. This is us, both of us. And this is our book. And our book actually has a lot more recipes, even beyond the 6-spice tea. We actually have a lot more recipes. Just want to show you this book briefly that we have over here. Again, has a lot of recipes, lot of the Ayurveda concept, lot of different spice mixes. In fact, we have even different herbs, spices. We've talked about, again, what are the benefits and things, even with the Ayurvedic perspective. So this is for the general public that Pushpa and we wrote. So again, definitely, please, if you are interested more into learning about Ayurveda, introducing Ayurveda, this is a wonderful way to get started, is our Ayurveda and Yoga book, A Path to Health and Healing. The next thing we want to show you, we have actually got together and brought this course for you. It's a 21-day Ayurvedic routine, A Path to Health and Healing. This is based on a book, but again, this is 21 days into Ayurveda and developing that routine. Now, this course, let me tell you, it helps to establish that 21-day Ayurvedic routine. And what it helps is, in Ayurveda, we have a concept called as dinacharya. Dina means your day. A charya means your routine. So dinacharya basically is your daily routine. So this 21-day Ayurvedic routine e-course actually helps with establishing that 21-day routine. And what we're going to see as a result of that, we're going to discover better gut health, improved quality of sleep, higher energy levels, And when we feel better, we have better energy levels, and we're going to feel much better. We're going to feel amazing. So again, this course is available. It's completely online. It's self-paced, something you can join from the comfort of your home. It is in the Thinkific courses, and we will actually send you the link as well. So if you decide this is something you want to try with Ayurveda, introduce Ayurveda wellness into your lifestyle, into your life, this is a wonderful way to bring that Ayurveda wellness into your life.
I just wanted to say thank you, Gauri. That was very nice. The demonstration was fantastic. And I hope everybody really enjoyed watching them. I'm sure you're inspired to go make your tea at home. Yeah, so yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead and ask the question.
Yeah, so this is related to the tea. Gauri, thank you so much for showing that. And is it okay to add honey or jaggery or something with that?
So the thing is, in Ayurveda, we say honey should not be added to anything that is very hot, because what they say is that honey loses its potency when you add to very hot liquids. So if you want to add honey, you want to make sure that the tea really cools down to very, I would say, very just enough. What do you say? It's just more of a room temperature. That's when you would actually add the honey.
And it's also considered to be a toxin, when you put it in, that makes it very sticky, kind of causes problems with blockages inside. So you don't want it, like they said, like 170 degrees is too high a temperature for honey. Yeah, lukewarm, you can add it. I know a lot of people have the habit of adding honey to tea. We're talking really hot tea. So like Gauri was showing, the boiling tea, you definitely don't want to add to that. Yeah.
Now, one thing you can definitely look at, definitely if you want to add, there's something, we called it the rock sugar. It's called mishri. That's something you can add a little pinch if you want. You want to add a little sweetness. You can definitely add the mishri, or you can add a little jaggery. But keep in mind, mishri is considered sweeter in nature in Ayurveda, while jaggery is considered more heating in nature. So you always want to assess, where's your doshas, what your body type, and based on that, you always want to add. Did I answer your question, Sindhu?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I really did not know this. I used to add honey for the hot tea the way I make this way. Yeah, so I was just curious because like without any sugar, I feel like, I don't know, it's based on each person. I like to have it little bit sweetened. So I thought, okay, honey is a better one than sugar, and I used to add like honey to the hot tea and drink. So now I got to know. Thank you.
Yeah, remember one more thing too. I know these herbal teas are made of spices. They're supposed to increase your digestion, help with your digestion. So if you already have a poor digestion, you are making it sweet. The sweet actually dampens your digestion too. So maybe get used to drinking it without that, because the benefit you're looking for is digestion, kindling that agni. The other one more thing I wanted to mention is, our 21-day routine, why we pick the 21 days. They say if you do something for 21 days, then it'll become a habit. So that's part of the reason. We are starting the 20, I mean, everybody does 21-day challenges and stuff like that. So I just wanted to mention that as well. I think there are some questions in the chat, Gauri.
Yeah, so let me read the second question that we have. I think Amrita has asked this question. Thanks for the valuable information. Does the book and the course have information geared towards young children and teenagers as well? So Amrita, what I will tell you is that, in Ayurveda, one of the things we say that, especially with the Prakriti, is that, not until you're around 25 years of age that we actually develop that Prakriti really well. So you can still look at some of the information and things, but really not geared towards the kids. It's more towards the adults. Okay, what do you have, Pushpa?
No, the other question, other thing too, the stages of life are also classified as Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So usually when you're younger, like up to the teenage stage, you're more of a Kapha person. So you don't want to think of that as an imbalance. Sometimes they might have Kapha tendencies. So you got to keep that in mind. The Pitta stage is between like 20 to 50, 55. And then after that, the Vata stage kicks in. So that is why there are so many layers to Ayurveda. So you kind of have to look at that as well.
Okay. So the next question we have is how to balance all the three doshas together, because when you try to pacify one, the other goes out of proportion, like while you're trying to balance Vata or Kapha gets out of balance, etc. So how to maintain equilibrium? This is a nice question. So what I will tell you, Pooja, is best you talk to a trained Ayurveda practitioner. So that way they're able to assess, what does the different balances and imbalances are. And then based on that, they can actually give you that guidance. It's very difficult for us to tell you that, how to balance everything, because every person's even, balances changes, even on a daily basis, our body changes, right? Physiology changes. So even that effect on the doshas changes from morning to evening, it changes as well. So again, my suggestion again is to talk to an Ayurveda practitioner, and again, get the insights from an Ayurveda practitioner by working together with an Ayurveda practitioner. Pushpa?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I think if you have a lot of issues and stuff, you definitely want to consult with somebody. But we're talking about preserving the health of a healthy person. So definitely when you have this gas and bloating and constipation, you're taking a vata pacifying diet. Yes, you will. When you calm that down, the kapha will go up. We do want that kapha to go up a little bit. So it's natural for that to happen. And maybe that is what is bringing balance to the body as well. So of course, if you have, like diabetes or other issues, then you definitely don't want to just self-treat. You definitely need to go to a practitioner and make sure you're doing the right thing. Yeah.
Next question is from Pravina. What is the good time to have this tea, and any number of times to limit per day? So as I said, you can have it in the morning if you want to, have it the first thing in the morning. You can have it with a meal as well. But how many times a day will depend upon your body type. So as I said, we have a mixture of all different spices, right? So depending upon these spices, I would again depend upon how well you're tolerating this. So I would base it on how much your tolerance level. So there's not like a minimum or maximum. It is based on your body type, your prakriti, and your tolerance.
Yeah,
Pushpa?
definitely. And I think also you can also have sips of it. Like you could sip it all through the day. If you make it in the morning, you can put it in a thermos, sip all through the day. I wouldn't have too much after dinner, but definitely, in between you can. And especially for people like Vata and Pitta who are very forget to drink or whatever, this is actually a good idea, because I'm saying that from my own experience. Otherwise, I forget. So for me, putting it in a thermos actually reminds me that I have to keep taking some fluids. So that is, that's something to keep in mind, because remember, these are spicy. So at night, you don't want to have that, because then you can have heartburn and other issues.
And the last question we have so far, do you have a brochure for your course? Yes, we actually have a link. So what we'll do is that for all those who have signed up, we will be actually sending a link for our recording today, as well as we'll have the link for our book, and we'll have the link for the e-course that we have. So as I said, this is completely online, completely virtual. You can do it from the comfort of your home. And it's self-paced, so it gives you the time to actually absorb all the different concepts what we have talked about in the course. And again, how to start with a 21-day routine. But this is a wonderful way for all of you to think about. If you want to start with Ayurveda and include Ayurveda into your lifestyle, this is a wonderful way to introduce that Ayurveda into your lifestyle.
Yeah, and then the way we structure this course is, we have day one, do this, day two, this. So we've kind of given you either videos, or we've given you, if we have YouTube links already, we put that in there. So it's kind of like packaged nicely. And then you also have some of those days we have assignments to kind of assess your own body and your mind, so you can figure out for yourself. This is self-healing course, right? So based on that, and of course, I also talked about diet and lifestyle and all of that. So it'll give you a really good, when you start working on yourself, then you will take more responsibility. You're taking responsibility for your health. So I think you're more likely to follow than somebody else telling you, do this and do that, right? So that is why we thought this would be nice. It's a very nominal price. We're charging only $108. So it's not a lot of money to invest towards your health. We wanted to make it cheap enough so everybody can benefit from this, so price should not be a deterrent to good health. So this is our concept, and we are very passionate about the subject and education and helping and healing. I think we both are heart of heart, in the deepness of our soul, we're healers. So we want to take this to as many people as possible. So definitely, take a look at it. Share also with your friends and family who you think may be benefited. This is also a good gift to give it to somebody if you think they might benefit from this. So please, take a look at that. And then, like Gauri said, we will send out the recording once we're done. And then, of course, send you the links for all of these things. Okay. Thank you so much, all of you, for attending. Is there any more questions anyone has?
I think they had asked about a price, but you answered that, Pushpa. So
oh, I did. Okay.
I said it's an introductory. We want to make sure that everybody is able to actually utilize this course, and it's something that it's price is not a hindrance for everybody. So that's where we've kept it, where it's easier to access for everybody.
Yeah. And I think, and you might say, okay, this is all available online, there are lots of websites, but, to put it together in a way that you can use it is the hardest part. And I think that's what we both wanted to do. And of course, the book is a very good support for that as well. So that could be a good reference. So you can get that. And then using this, you can, do it yourself. So, yeah. So any more questions, or we're good?
I think we are done with any.
We're done? Okay. Okay, great. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending. Have a great, sorry, go ahead. Have a good rest of the weekend, I was going to say.
Thank you so much, everyone. I mean, this is so wonderful that all of you want to learn about Ayurveda and want to learn about how Ayurveda can make a difference